What is up, guys? Welcome back to episode number 11 today of the Huddersfield Town Career Mode. As I said in the previous episode, we will be messing around with sliders, but sadly, I already recorded this episode before I made that decision. So this episode has the same sliders on that the previous episode does, so hopefully it will still be an interesting one for you all, and it should still be quite competitive as well. So we've got 3 games to come, one in the Premier League, one in the FA Cup, and then one in the first leg of the double leg semi-final against West Ham United in that Carabao Cup. So that's pretty much what we're aiming for this year, the Carabao Cup. We are aiming to try and win that if we possibly can. At the moment, it is us, West Ham, West Brom, and Spurs are the 4 teams currently left in that competition. Spurs and West Brom have drawn against each other. We've drawn against West Ham. So, of course, we're going to get that started today. Hopefully get off in the right ways and then end off in the next episode and see if we can make it through to that final. As you saw there, guys, there was a lot of different news things coming up. A few of them were new signings to relevant teams and stuff. United actually had signed Ryan Bertrand, which I was a bit unsure about, unless Luke Shaw has left the club, because to be honest, Shaw's not a bad left-back in the game, potential and overall-wise. So, yeah, I was a bit surprised to see them signing Ryan Bertrand, but it is what it is. A few other teams as well breaking their bank, getting a few players in, one of them being Leicester with a new forward in the form of Lars Stindl. They, of course, lost Jamie Vardy earlier on in the season as he went over to Everton. So they did get Lars Stindl into the team, and it was actually Leicester who we were taking on in the first game of today's episode, and the only game in the Premier League, and Lars Stindl did make his debut for them today. So, of course, we're sat top, they're sat 8th place. We shouldn't be sat top, but we are sat top, and that's the way it currently stands. So there is Stindl, £24.3 million to Leicester. It's a hefty price, you know. We don't really have that kind of money to be able to put into players right now. I think our highest this season was, of course, Smolov, 16.6 million, and thus far he's been a good transfer because he's a top scorer in the division, so you can't really complain at that, can you? As you can see, that is the team lining up here, guys. I have no idea what happened, but the fixture list was so congested that I just could not play my strongest 11 because I would have had so many injuries, so many players just like dying in the middle of the pitch through fitness and stuff. So I made the decision to start my second team, and it didn't really work out too well in the this kind of, I want to say first part of the game, but nothing happened until the second half. And even then, the first chance of the game actually went the way of Leicester, which they ended up scoring there. And I was fuming. The reason I was fuming, I know I've moved down, of course, the shot error, so now it's down to 40 for the AI, so of course they're going to be better in taking their shots and scoring their shots. But I have no idea how Marty, of all the players, has just smashed that top bins. Like, fully top bins, was no mistake about it. It was just a sensational strike, so that was kind of what disappointed me. But we did finally begin to get into the game. It only took 68 minutes for us to be able to do that. Kachunga gets a nice cross into the middle, and Munier gets his leg to it, and in the end sends a strike goalwards, which is well saved by, I think, Kasper Schmeichel in between the sticks. So, yeah, disappointing way to start off today's episode. We end up with a 1-0 defeat. Whether or not I can put that down to the sliders, or whether or not it was just me not being able to take my chances. I mean, you can see match facts-wise, they had 36% possession, had 1 shot, and they scored that 1 shot, and that is what got them the 3 points. So, to say I was, a little bit disappointed would be an understatement. At the time, I remember saying to myself, I'm so annoyed at this game. It's the same stuff all the time, with the game always having 1 shot and scoring it. But sometimes, guys, that's all it takes. And for Leicester, that is all that mattered, because they then got themselves the 3 points, effectively, and we got nothing out of that game. So, disappointing, but we have to dust ourselves off and go again, and this is where another issue came in. We had that game 2 days later or something like that. In fact, no, I think it was like 5 days later we played City, and then I had to go ahead after that and play West Ham. So, again, I needed to make a decision based on that. Do I start my strongest team for this game against City, then not play them for the game against West Ham? Because I think those 2 games were quite close together as well. I made the decision of not doing that. I started my second team for this one. I may have added a couple of players in there that possibly would have been playing first-team football, in that game against West Ham. So there's every chance that there was a couple of players playing in this one. But still, I had to make that decision. I made it, and I decided to play our backup team for this one here. And on the other hand, I was kind of intrigued to see what kind of lineup City were going to put out here. But they actually did name a fair few good players. They had Aguero, Gabriel Jesus. I think the only players that I wouldn't have put in my team had it have been City manager is probably their 2 centre-backs in Facey and the one beginning with A, and maybe Zivchenko in the midfield. But other than that, it was a strong City lineup. So most likely we were going to go out at this stage, and I wasn't really bothered. Like I mentioned, I was trying to go as far as possible within the cups to try and win them this year, but we got drawn against City in FA Cup third round, so the chances are, at the Etihad as well, we were probably going to go out, and I didn't start the game off well again. Aguero to Jesus, Jesus gets in, and City were leading inside 21 minutes. My defending today was absolutely atrocious. I have no idea what on earth went wrong with me. I just could not defend, and that was my biggest, problem. But Meunier gives it off to Van La Parra. La Parra with a cross towards a backstick. Kachunga tries to win it, comes back to Meunier, and this time Ederson makes a save to deny us an equaliser in this game. And I thought we were going to find it there, but sadly we didn't do it. Into the second half we go. Fernandinho into Gabriel Jesus. Jesus gets past my man far too easily, and it really should have been 2-0. If not for the woodwork, we would have been 2-0 down. So important that that happened for us, but I couldn't get ourselves back into it. And again, for the second time today, we fall to a 1-0 defeat. And match facts-wise, again, we gave up one shot on target, and that's the shot on target that goes in. So, yeah, another disappointing game. Truthfully, though, I'm not 100% bothered about that one. I was kind of expecting when I saw the draw play out and I saw we had City to maybe be going out there at the Etihad. So, worst case scenario was that we went out, and that's what's happened. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter too much. I wasn't expecting us to be able to win that one, and my focus now is solely on that of the Carabao Cup. So, yeah, I didn't really want to go too far in the FA Cup because I know for a fact that if I do that, my team and, fixture congestion, it's going to get annoying. So, I had to kind of make that decision to play my second team. If they got through, great. If not, doesn't matter. So, out of those two games, we are now, in my opinion, into the most important one of the three, which is this one here against West Ham. And as I said, this came a few days after, maybe 2 or 3 days after that game against City, which is the reason I couldn't play my starting 11 because I was saving it for this game here against West Ham. Of course, it's a double leg, which means I don't know whether or not away goals count in this one. I've never kind of, looked at this fully. I can't remember if they do or not, so I'm not going to say they do right now. I will look it up, guys, for next episode, but it doesn't really matter to us at the moment because West Ham are the away team here. Spurs and West Brom playing out the other games in this one, so it should be hopefully quite a competitive, tie for both of these sides here, because West Brom are enjoying a decent start or a decent kind of, season thus far. They're not really... they're not done too bad, and I think Spurs, they started off really good, but they seem to have fallen a little bit. I don't know what's happened to them. I don't know whether they've had injuries or something, but certainly they've fallen off since the start they had. So that is the West Ham team. You saw ours very briefly just before that. It is pretty much our strongest 11. I was looking forward to it. I wanted to see if we could get a good enough advantage in leg one, and the game started off really well compared to the other two for us. Tom Ince down the right, whips across into Marcus Rashford, and he gets us off with a bang. 9 minutes in, we already score with Rashford. It's a header towards the back stick. He jumps past two defenders, gets there ahead of two of them. He just wanted the ball more, in all fairness to him, and he really deserved that one. Great header. I think it's Sam Byram, one of the ones who he outjumps for that one. But truthfully, I was not expecting him to win that header. I was not expecting to see us go 1-0 up inside the first 10 minutes. So Rashford, it was important that we got off to a good start, and he gave us the best start possible. Let me say this. Rashford caused so much danger down that left-hand side all day long for West Ham. He was a thorn in their side, but it was actually West Ham with the second chance of the game as I cleared away a header here, but it comes into Aqua. Sorry, not Aqua. It was a Rashford, sorry, giving the ball away. I tried to feed it to Hogg. Stupid of me, I should have cleared it. It comes to Chicharito, and he makes us score 1-1. So the little Mexican, Little P, I think his nickname is, he ends up equalising the score up. I was a bit disappointed in myself. I should have just cleared it, and I gave them a way back into the game. So, yeah, bad from my play, but full credit to West Ham. They took the chance. And as I said, Rashford was a thorn in the side all afternoon long. 73 minutes in this time. Cuts inside of that defender. I think it was Sam Byram again, still on the pitch, even though he's having a shocker against Rashford down that left. He ends up with a strike, but it's well saved. And we move into the next highlight. Smolov to Rashford again. Rashford beats Byram, not for the first time in a game. Nice cutback again from Marcus into Kachunga, who really should have made the score 2-1. So again, disappointing finishing from me. Otherwise, we would be home and sailing in this game. And with the dying few minutes coming, Rashford again getting the better of Byram. Tries to take the strike on. Couldn't quite do it there, but it falls to Smolov after the header is won at the back post. and he makes no mistake with the finish. He slots home, and it is Huddersfield Town 2, West Ham United 1. So, yeah, I have to admit, I was a bit nervous when I saw it at 1-1 in the last few minutes of the game, and admittedly, Rashford played unbelievably. He was dominating Byram on that left-hand side, really couldn't get him in his pocket, and Rashford had him, had his number all day long. But to say the least, I was slightly worried. It was, 2 minutes to go. We were 1-1 in the game where we dominated again, very much like the Leicester game, and we ended up losing that one 1-0. That I just felt as though if we didn't, win the game, morale-wise, it's not good moving forward. But thankfully, Smolov does find the winner. So, that gives us a 2-1 aggregate lead so far, moving into the second leg, of course, when we play it over at the London Stadium. I'm feeling pretty confident, guys. I feel like we can make that final. Whether or not we've done enough to make it in leg 1, we'll have to wait and decide and, see for next game. I don't want to go into that one and sit back and defend, as again, we gave up one chance and it went in. So yeah, another disappointing goalkeeping, show from our keeper. Admittedly, I have moved the shot error down on the CPU side, so it's going to be tough for my keeper anyways. But I don't want to go to the London Stadium and try and defend that. I have to go there and still try to win the game. If I go in with the mindset of trying to defend the 2-1 aggregate lead, it's not going to go well at all. So we actually play West Ham in a minute, or in the next episode, guys, sorry, in the league. And then we have the second leg against them in the cup again. So, yeah, one of these games I might have to play my reserve side for, so we'll see which one I choose to do that with in the next episode. But if you've enjoyed this one, guys, a like rating would be greatly appreciated. Hopefully next episode we'll have the new update on FIFA, and therefore it might be a bit more competitive as well. It should fix a few things. If you did enjoy today's episode, as I said, a like rating would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for all of your support on the channel. I really do appreciate it, guys. Massively appreciated as always. I will catch you all again at 6 PM UK time tonight for yet another video. See you all then. Adios!